It's funny how software is an iterative process. And that's like a recursively true thing, iterative implementation, features, you name it. So I wanted to be able to drive my Claude Code running on my desktop from my phone. And at first, I implemented a pretty simple shared markdown file that got synced, outside of the outside of everything, synced by some other service. And in this case, it was Obsidian. And then that slowly, that was really cool and super useful. And it involved a lot of little secret codes and commands and stuff. It was very, very geeky and, um, rudimentary, let's say. And then as I started thinking about it, I'm like, wait a minute, Obsidian has a lot of abilities. Let's get into it. So here I'll just show you an example. Here's Obsidian on the left, and I'm going to say copy the path to the system root. And then over here, I have this teleprompter button, and I click it, and it says, hey, what path to the markdown file? And I say start. And so it creates this basically markdown and HTML version of, here, let's turn on so I can see the thoughts while they come in. And it was a whole thing. It was really fun. Probably about 3 days of effort to get it working pretty well. Now see this button ID not found here? This is something that is annoying. So I go over here, load my shopping list, then go back and reload this, come back down, gee whiz, it's fixed. So, like I say, even now it's a little janky. It's gotten a lot more like it knows that we're in plan mode and it knows we're in collaboration. So it does that. It does a lot of really cool things. It's pretty neat, neato, whatever. Anyway, the thing of it is, after getting it pretty much in complete parity, although if you notice, I can't change the model or the level of effort. I can. This is thoughts on and thoughts off here. But I realized that there's a way better way to do this, and so I'm about to embark on. And what's so cool, it's one of those things that pays such dividends. So the way that I've built, so this what you're seeing in the IntelliJ plugin is the web view, and the web view is a Preact application. And it's got a really clean, data model and signal structure. Preact signals are super cool. So anyway, what that means is that I'm going to make a client, a native client for iOS and Android and Windows and Linux and on and on. And that will be quite easy to do because of the way the Preact application is made. And then furthermore, the plugin for IntelliJ has gotten so much further beyond the VS Code extension that I started with that that now that I've done this whole teleprompt implementation, I realized that the VS Code implementation is going to be a consumer of the web view that's actually built in the main IDEA plugin repository. So anyway, so a web view artifact will be created and it will be shared across the IntelliJ plugin, the VS Code extension, and all of the remote clients. And that is I'm geeking out over that. It's pretty cool. So anyway, it's funny though to have worked so hard and long on this markdown implementation and then to be just about to just completely throw it away. I'm going to keep it working while I'm working on the other, the better thing. But it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be end-to-end encrypted, WebSocket implementation. The apps in the app stores, all the different app stores, will be free and will be useful without anything, So I'm gonna make the I'm gonna make the, um, I'm going to make the relay server. So there is going to be a little bit of a back-end component. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm not sure there is going to be a back-end component. Let's ask about that now. Hey, question. With the new, now that we're not using, what's it called? Oh, what's it called? The WebRTC, I think it is. Yeah, web. Now that we're not using WebRTC and we're using the noise WebSocket instead, are we going to need a server of any kind? Okay, yeah, so we do still need a relay. Short answer for V1, no server of any kind. Here's the breakdown. Yeah, V1. The RTC comparison is the interesting part. Dropping WebRTC actually reduced the server burden, not increased it. WebRTC would have needed a signaling server, always even on LAN, to exchange connection info, plus stun, turn, events. Yeah. The noise WebSocket path needs 0 servers on LAN, and off LANs it needs just one simple ciphertext relay, replacing WebRTC signaling stun. All right, but then what about enforcing subscription and via Stripe and everything from the plugin? So the idea is I'm going to open source all the ways to do this so that if people want to just spin up their own relay server, they can. But then I'm also going to charge a subscription super low, like $3 a month or something like that, just as a convenience, you know. It's like you don't want to spin up your own, and it's like, you know what, that's not too bad. And so make it a easy thing to opt into. And in fact, now that I'm thinking about it, there might even be less traffic, and so might be able to reduce it down to $2 a month or something like that, or maybe even lower. I don't know. I have to think about it, because I mean, there will be hosting costs with AWS or whoever I go with, which I imagine it will be AWS. Compliance question about enforcing Stripe subscriptions to the plugin, which ties back to the monetization constraints outlined in the brief. Specifically, the mobile app can't handle row write. Key distinction here is the subscription for the teleprompter itself is a legitimate product license of concern. It's doing lots of thinking. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that, first of all, I have the plugin working really well, and I have the teleprompter feature working really well, but it's about to work even better and be a lot more extensible. This whole markdown thing. Not only did you have to have Obsidian, but you had to install plugins, and then you had to configure them just right and all this stuff. And it's like real finicky and not something that is, super user friendly. So yeah, check this out. Here's the markdown way of answering this. So I could answer it in here, or better, I can come over here. How should subscription entitlement enforcement relate to the teleprompter protocol plan? Separate plan, add only a gate seam note here. Yeah, that's fine. Add entitlement Stripe licenses, additional phases in the same plan. Checkout flow. Yeah. It will be a separate plan, but we need to note the seam. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. When I answer, I can answer one of these answers, and then I can add a little spin on the answer. So it gets the answer, but it also gets this as like an addendum. And then you can see it's got this answered badge over here, and it's kind of grayed out. You don't get to click these anymore, but you can go back in the history and go, what was the question? What answer? Oh yeah, there we go. So anyway, separate plan, main seam noted here. So anyway, that's enough of a sharing right now. Just thought I'd share.